I believe I got unfairly laid off. Should I take legal action against my former employer? First, let me repeat the fact that I am not and have never been an attorney. You should always get your legal advice from someone who is trained and knowledgeable and able to give you that legal advice, which means you need to go see an attorney. Having said all of that, I think from a career point of view and from a personal point of view, we can think through some of the issues that might affect you should you decide to take this decision. Okay, number one, it's not about the truth. Okay, this is going to be hard, but you need to understand this is a question of what makes good sense to your career and to your life and to the future that you want to set for yourself. And that's framed by the case. Now, if you have a really, really good case, I mean one that every friend you have says you're going to win, then suing or threatening to sue might make sense. However, if you have a case that is poor and people around you sort of wince a bit when you suggest you're going to sue, clearly it makes no sense suing. My guess is that for most of us the situation is neither one extreme or the other, that it's somewhere in the middle. In many cases, therefore, it comes down to opinions and it comes down to judgment. It comes down to how people think and what people remember. And when it comes down to opinions, it's yours versus theirs. It's a he said versus she said situation. That means probably if you ever really get that far, this is going to go to court. When it goes to court, it's going to go in front of a jury. And you know what happens from TV, if you've ever watched TV programs when things go in front of a jury. You can't really guarantee an outcome. It's a bit like rolling the dice. I've also, by the way, seen research that says in these situations, it's mostly the employer, not the employee, that wins a majority of these cases. So you really have to get ready for it becoming something that's going to go to court. Number two, it's going to get personal. Look, most companies are pretty smart before they lay someone off. They're legally savvy about what they do and how they do it. Now, you may be working for a really stupid company, and an attorney will help you understand whether that's true. But chances are the company really did what they needed to do before they laid you off. And assuming they did those right things, then fighting them is going to become a personal thing, and they're going to attack you personally. If they quickly give in to you, of course, then they risk lots of other people coming out and suing them. Okay, which they don't want. There's a huge business risk for them. Any company, even one you think is nice, therefore, will turn nasty when being threatened. You know, you think they were friendly, they won't be. You will be called names, and people will say you said and you did things that you don't believe you did, and they're clearly going to be bad. And you're either going to want to say you never did them, or it never happened, or that wasn't the way you interpreted or implied they were made up. But the problem here is that the people around you, the people who can help you, your work friends, are going to have to choose to take sides, and you know what a threat that is for them. Okay, all of these things can seem huge and personal and will have an emotional cost. Don't underestimate this side of what you're about to do. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, but you've got to be ready for the impact on you and your family before doing it. Number three, it's not a long-term strategy. Okay. If you are unlucky, and in many of these cases, particularly with jury cases, there is an element of unluck, you're going to lose the case. If you're very lucky, and maybe your case is strong, then they're going to settle out of court, or you're going to win in court. Either way, you have to understand this is not a long-term strategy, and you need to get on and live the rest of your life. You cannot let this incident define your life or your future. So at some point, you are going to need to move on. You're going to need to get on with your life. The real question you have to ask yourself to decide is when to start with the moving on. If it's hard, to get another job, I understand that. But it's even harder if mentally you are still fighting your former employer. You should also think, by the way, about the secretive nature. Will your next employer want a litigious person working for them? Can you keep it secret? Can you not? These are real questions. Your principles may be important to you, and this case may be good, but you need to ask yourself, is this where you should be spending your time? And don't let it define your future.